talk about Steve Lukather. I'm really excited to do this. So, I love Steve Lukather, but I also really can't play anything like Steve Lukather. So, I thought to myself, I should make a video where I just show you my process of trying to get as close to that sound as I can from what I know about Steve Lukather. And, you know what? I think you should just use what you have around the house. So I did. So, let's start from the very beginning. I know that Steve Lukather uses one of these very little picks. I don't use one of these very little picks. And so, this is honestly not that easy for me to use. But if I use it for a little while, I start to like it a lot. And I can see why he digs it. But it takes a little bit of a learning curve. Little Fender jazz picks. This is a DeAndrea Heavy, but he uses actually maybe Music Man. I don't know, but he uses basically a Fender jazz pick. After the pick, I'm pretty sure if he had his druthers, he would use a Fender Stratocaster or some sort of super strat. Not a Fender Stratocaster, a super strat of some kind. I know he does use Music Man guitars now. Then the next component, I think, in his sound that I always noticed, and so let's start from the beginning here. Let's go. I'm going to turn off a few things here so it's not quite so noisy. And let's start with my amp. I'm using a PV Classic 30 amp. It is a great amp. I love it. I'll put a picture of it up here. And I put it with a little bit of gain on it, a little bit of modern gain, so I sound like this. I think it sounds awesome. Now, one of the things I definitely know that I would attribute to him, if I was just trying to do on my own, get Steve Lukather sounds, I would put a delay in the effects loop. So now I got my DD3, my Boss DD3, putting that in the effects loop here. And now it sounds like this. Oh, and the amp has reverb on it. So if you don't have reverb on your amp, you gotta figure something out. Put that in the effects loop too. Cool. Alright, so next on the hit parade, I'm going to add a boost going into the amp. I've got a Katana boost on my board. So I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to make it a little dirty. You could probably just use a light overdrive, maybe a tube scream or whatever. So here's the boost going into the amp. Now I know, I've listened to interviews where Lukather talks about how much grease he likes on his sound. I take that to mean he just likes to throw a lot of effects, or maybe back in the day he did. So, I'm going to throw a little chorus on that. And I'm using a JHS 3 series chorus, but I think it should be mild. I don't think it should be like whacked out, you know, like wah 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 sounds. Cool. Alright. And then finally, and what I feel like people don't talk about enough, I'm pretty sure he puts his compression pedal on for everything. So, I'm going to throw my Wampler Ego compressor. That's it right there. That's it. So here's the order of effects. And you can hear all that hiss, so you might want to have a noise gate or, you know, adjust your effects until you get rid of the noise somewhere, but you're basically trying to pump your signal. So I'm going compressor, a little bit of a slightly dirty boost, into a chorus, into the amp, into the delay and the effects loop. I mean, it just sounds awesome. And also, the little pick. Really important. And the super strat with a humbucker right there,